Hey, what's up? It's Eduard. Been a while. Today we're talking about the phrase that has been confusing people a lot lately in the past 10 years. I've noticed the phrase is beware the quiet ones. We're talking about the toxic introverts, dangerous introverts, evil introverts that exist among us and are very hard to spot now in comparison to, let's say, 50, 40 years ago, when people were more outspoken and acting more according to what they feel and think. So whenever something came to a mind of a person, of the Asian person living 50 years ago, they would always act based upon that, whether physically or verbally. And so it was quite easy to understand and distinguish friend from foe. But things have changed, right? In the 90s, or whenever it happened, computers came to existence, and then more and more people start becoming addicted to computers and spending too much time in front of the screen, being unable to basically use their body properly, use their mind properly, and as a result stop being able to always express immediately, verbally or physically, what it is that they feel or think in that particular moment. So we ended up in a situation where in certain countries, let's call it the most developed countries by Western standards, and the most perhaps politically heavy countries where people like to talk about politics more than they like to simply enjoy life emotionally. In those countries, there are a lot of introverts. In some countries, most people could be called introverts. In some other countries, it's mostly, it's just a vast majority of a population. And the very common, and there are different types of introverts. There's the introverts that are introverted just by the fact that they found peace in life and they don't want to, they basically don't really need anybody anymore. They have sufficient amount of people around them to pursue and achieve their goals and be healthy and be happy. And then there are also, we're not going to be touching all of the types obviously, but there are also for example, the traumatized introverts. These are the people who had a quite complicated childhood in one way or the other, and there's quite a lot of people, a lot of us have traumas. There's nothing shameful about that, but people try to resolve those problems differently. Some people just move to friendly countries, to Latin countries, developed African countries, developed friendly Asian countries like Malaysia, like Philippines. And some people choose a more introverted lifestyle and spending more time in the nature, spending more time with the animals, spending more time meditating, and sometimes they choose to do the kind of work where they wouldn't need to interact with people too much. But because we have this type of people who they have a problem with their ego that makes it complicated for them to interact with other people. It's not that they're bad people, but they have this because this is what traumas do. When we have traumas, the way our brain changes to work is that we try to protect ourselves from potential danger, even if there is no danger anymore. Even if a person doesn't live in the same environment that they used to be living in the past, it takes a long time to get adjusted to the fact that, hey, people around you don't necessarily pose the same kind of threat that they would be posing in the past. So these type of introverts, the traumatized introverts, they understand that they have the ego problem, and they are working on that ego, trying to heal it, trying to change the main force from ego to love. And then after they feel like they have fulfilled their mission, they're able to embark on the journey to achieve results and let's say conquering the world with love instead of with ego. But because it is very easy nowadays to spot an evil person if they are loud, if they make a lot of noise, well, obviously, if we think about an evil person, the first image that comes to mind is Hitler. Talking a lot, very aggressive, frowning, very direct kind of speech, and it's you can feel that the person has problems with ego, and that he is, instead of trying to heal the ego, that was a mosquito, we're in Finland after all, instead of trying to heal the traumas that they have and arrive to feel love, they start to use that ego to conquer the world and to achieve more and more and more and more power. And what do all the people with power want? As wise prophet in the Matrix Reloaded movie said, more power. And they're not necessarily bad people, but they're evil, meaning that their actions are evil. But they're not bad, meaning that it's if a person doesn't feel love, and if a person doesn't feel safe, and they have traumas, and nobody is giving love to them, because generally people are afraid somebody who has an ego problem, because it just doesn't feel like pleasant and relaxed and nice. This is pretty much the only option that they have. But it doesn't excuse their actions, and we really have to learn how to not become evil people, especially if we have traumas that we need to resolve before we can arrive to the place of love, and not stay there, not become a hippie, but use that love to actually do something valuable to other people, so that people would be appreciating you, so that there would be people who you could, if somebody asks who appreciates your life, who can thank you for what you're doing, there would be such people. This is how you know that you're doing good after arriving to the place of love. And the evil introverts are very easy to confuse with traumatized introverts, and the way to go about it is our strategy with dealing with evil people has changed. In the past, it was more about aggression, just straight out aggression. You spot because there's more good people than there are bad evil people, and so once you spot an evil person, it was more about aggression. You can see it, for example, in the movies like Lord of the Rings, where you have the good guys and then you have the evil forces. And the evil forces are those ugly creatures with a lot of wrinkles, and they just look like a deteriorated, expired version of a human. And then there are the good forces, and the good forces, they don't act towards the evil forces in the same way that we are starting to act, and in the most developed by Western standards countries, people are already acting that way, but they were directly fighting them. So it was good fight between good and evil. How it is working in our world right now is that once we are able to spot an evil person, or basically a person who is driven by ego. And remember, the difference between the traumatized introvert and the evil introvert is that the traumatized introvert understands that they have ego problems. They try to heal them, and when they're interacting with other people, they're very soft, because if they just start acting completely according to their nature and upbringing, they're going to end up in the situation that people are going to get scared of them, that people are going to people wouldn't want to interact with them. So they are soft and they're nice. But then there's the evil introvert, and the evil introvert is how they act, because they use their ego power to attain everything that they want to attain in life. Whenever you're interacting with them, they are not soft. You can feel the tension, you can feel the aggression, and it obviously doesn't make you feel safe, especially if you're not used to dealing with that kind of energy. And the way we are dealing with evil people in the world right now, and most evil people are the introverts right now, unless we are talking about the countries that are not considered developed by Western standards, where we still have some very loud leaders who act from ego. The way we deal with evil introverts is that we just, and it's not something that people have came up with, like, hey, let's do it that way. It's a natural progression. This is the way nature works, the way nature runs within us. We want to feel good, we want to be surrounded by people who make us feel good, and if somebody is full of tension and aggression, and whenever they talk, it kind of feels like an attack, even though they are not attacking, right? The very common term nowadays, passive aggressiveness. Even if they don't actually attack, they don't make us feel good. And what people naturally, through the power of nature, have started doing is leaving those people alone. Just not giving social support with them. Being nice, something like, yeah, I understand where you're coming from, like, good job, keep doing that. But then whenever the evil introverts try to reach out to other people, they don't feel the support and they don't feel like they belong. And this is the only way how beside actually going and killing evil people, how we can deal with evil people, with evil introverts nowadays. Turn evil introverts to traumatized introverts, because anybody can change. It may be very hard and may take a lot of time, but it is possible. It's not something that that you have it and that's it, you're done. Even if we take the how it's like to be portrayed in the Western world, Hitler as the evilest person of all time. Even if we take that person, he would be able to recover from his ego problems if enough effort would have been put, and if he was living in a more peaceful times and in a more peaceful country than he used to be living, and not living in the country where his acts were encouraged just because other people had the same kind of problems. So there you have it. We have evil introverts, traumatized introverts. This is how to distinguish them, and the way to how to be good people, even if we feel something evil within us. It's very simple. Meditating, meeting new people and seeing how they respond to you when you come to talk to them. Just when you just come to a person and say hi, no matter where you are, you can immediately see how they respond to you. And then obviously you need to, it's not just that simple that you just come to say hi, but even if you just come say hi, but just by their reaction you can see how, not one person, but you come to different types of people over time, and you see by their reaction where you stand, how good you are as a person. So meditating, meeting new people, and then spending time with animals, because animals are natural, and if animals are not also traumatized, which can happen in let's say very aggressive and not very developed countries, animals can show you the way, the way to life, teach you something. And this both applies to pets and to wild animals. So here you have it. If this video did not clear everything up in your head, what you were expecting that it will clear up based on the title, based on the thumbnail, feel free to reach out to me in Telegram or Instagram, links down in the description, and you'll be able to get a more personalized help with your particular situation. See you soon. It's been Eduard. Bye.